big ideas and voices clear. CXXP X2, bringing the best straight to you. XMgage, turn the page, ignite the stage. Learn, grow, feel the spark, make every moment leave a mark.
Hi, I'm Debi Potgieter, a certified customer experience professional with over 30 years of experience in all things CX. Welcome to the XMGage podcast, where we bring you insights from industry C experts, exploring actionable strategies to elevate customer experience and drive real business impact. Whether you're a CX leader, practitioner, professional, or just passionate about customer experience, this podcast is for you. Let's dive in. Welcome to XMgage, where customer experience goes beyond theory and truly connects with people. I'm Debi Potgieter from XMwize Solutions, dedicated to bringing the human touch into business strategy. Today, we're chatting with someone who genuinely understands how powerful communities shape professional growth. Greg Melia, CEO of the Customer Experience Professional Association, commonly known as the CXPA. Welcome to our XMgage podcast, Greg.
Debbie, it's an honor to be here.
Greg holds the Certified Association Executive Credential and leverages extensive storytelling experience from his years at ITN Productions to inspire and guide CX professionals worldwide. XMwize Solutions integrates CXPA's disciplines, practices, and community insights to deliver significant client outcomes, promote African expertise, and shape impactful customer experiences. In our conversation, we will explore Greg's journey, the importance of the CCXP certification, and the influence of a global CX community. So, Greg, let's jump straight into it. Let's start from the heart. What was your personal gateway to the world of customer experience?
Like many people, I backed into customer experience. A good friend and colleague of mine had worked with CXPA. And when I saw that CXPA was looking for a chief executive officer, I at first ignored it because I thought that customer experience was exactly the same as customer service. And I said, I don't want to just work with customer service. So when I looked the second time and I did a little bit more research, I realized that customer experience embodied so many things that I cared about. Shared mission, thinking about systems, thinking about human design and creativity, and most of all, trying to create a better world where things are good for the customer, good for the organization, and good for employees.
I love that, Greg. Tell us about an unforgettable moment when customer experience became deeply meaningful for you.
You know, what I love best about customer experience is that when it's done right, everything goes smoothly, and it doesn't have to be a birthday celebration or something where someone has gone out of their way. But a moment that sticks with me recently, this year, my wife had a period where she spent most of the month in the hospital with complications from surgery. And we were having difficulty finding any doctor that we felt understood our needs. And finally, we met Dr. Postic for the first time. And when he met my wife and he looked at her records, the first thing that he said was, "You're our neighbor. I need to take care of you." And that made me realize that at the heart of business, at the heart of healthcare, can really be that humanity to say, we're in this together. And that is the basis of great outcomes.
And those are stories that you will remember and tell people along the lines and keep in your family as well. That's very special. Thank you for sharing that, Greg. In terms of your role at ITN Production, do you think it shaped your passion for storytelling within CXPA?
You know, it's been such a great benefit to me, and I think to the CXPA community, the time that I had at ITN Productions Industry News. I mean, first, to focus and think about the companies that are making a huge difference by being better citizens, by being better partners, by being innovators. But secondly, learning how to use video to convey things in a short, focused manner. We have to realize that this is a very crowded attention space. And if you want people to remember you, you have to be able to convey those ideas quickly. The worst thing for customer experience professionals is that social media now has gone from being quite the positive aid to often being the platform where people are sharing one-off scare stories. So we need to be at the best of our game to get the positive stories out there so that they can see the full picture of what's going on.
It's true, Greg, and one bad negative story can cancel out 7 to 8 plus more positive stories that your company is trying to put together. So a big responsibility on our profession. Greg,
Yes.
paint us a picture. What does CXPA genuinely offer professionals around the world?
You know, what I really love about CXPA is it is a connected and caring community of people who put customers and put business success at the center of their organization and the way that they approach the world. What's really neat and what most people don't realize is how global CXPA is. We have members in over 75 countries around the world. We celebrated a new CCXP in the last year from Mongolia. And I think you've made it when a CCXP has reached Mongolia. And so I love seeing that every continent, every industry, every country is seeing benefits from the customer experience approach.
That's fantastic. But what sets it apart from other professional associations?
Yeah, I mean, customer experience is a new discipline. You know, it only was adopted as a term in the mid-90s and only became a professional role in the early 2000s. We're still doing the hard work so that people can understand that this is not a passing fancy. It's not the same as customer success or customer service. This is a holistic approach. So there's two things that we need to do. You know, on one side, we need to do the academic work and the rigorous work of doing the research and setting the standards so that people can understand what works consistently for everybody. On the other side, we need to create a community that comes together and supports one another. I mean, I love the fact that we're separated by oceans, but we know that we can ask one another for help or for assistance along the way. And I can say the same for members in Australia and Singapore and Vietnam and India and Holland and Britain and Canada and Peru. And so it's really great to think about how we're a truly global community that supports one another in this growing field.
I couldn't agree more. Greg, could you share a powerful story of how the CXPA has impacted someone's career, particularly in emerging markets like South Africa or others?
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's a ton of the examples out there, but one that comes to mind when you say that is Mariana, who was a CXPA member based in Brazil. And she was interested in relocating. And so she saw that there was a job opening in Canada. And because of her connections through CXPA, she was able to get that job and to relocate and really attributes. I know that she did the work to get that job, but she attributes the community as being a tremendous support for her as she was looking for that. I think that there's many examples because let's face it, customer experience is a relatively lonely discipline. Sometimes you're the only individual within your organization that is leading that effort. And it's helpful to have supportive folks who have either been there or are amidst that same work so that they can help and serve as a sounding board and mentor for you.
Never a truer word, Greg. I must say that, and when you are a community of CXs, we do rely on each other and hang on to each other's shoulders as we walk a tough road. And we'll capture those thoughts a little bit later on in our conversation. But At XMwize, using the CCXP competencies are fundamental in guiding our professional approach and how we deal with our clients. Why would you say the CCXP certification is so important within our field?
Yeah, I think that as a younger field, there is the reality that few people have gone to school and received the degree of training in processes and standards in customer experience the way that they have in accounting or human resource management or tax policy. And that means that we need to have something more disciplined than just trial and error. And so the early days of CXPA really were focused on a lot of idea exchange. And we had a lot of innovation awards to try to say, let's share what people are doing. Now, what we've realized is that the customer experience field is very nuanced. It is tremendously important for every organization to strongly understand their customers, the context of their customers' lives, and the way that they interact with their organization. But whether that means that you should be heavy into surveys, or you should be heavy into ethnographic observation, or you should be heavy into customer panels, that really depends on your industry and your organization's life cycle and the part of the world that you operate in. So having the CCXP and the broader CXPA CX framework provides, in essence, not a roadmap of what thou hast to do, but it provides you a structure for what thou shalt choose to do. So you need to think about what metrics you're going to use. For some people, that will be one. For others, that will be another. But it's really important that you have that measurement, because when we're talking about large-scale change, you need to be able to measure and discuss that. And the same goes for the other 5 domains, is you need to be able to decide what is right for your context. It's equally important that you recognize that all 5 of those domains are part of the stool. And if you start to take away parts of those, or they're underdeveloped, or they don't follow industry practices, are you really doing customer experience? Or are you just doing a collection of activities? And so that's part of the reason that the CXPA framework is important, and the CCXP credential helps to assess an individual's mastery of those concepts, so that they will have that ability to step in and look at the organization and help craft a very personalized and trusted solution.
Greg, as you know, I am a huge fan of both the CXPA and the CCXP certification. But for our listeners out there, does obtaining the certification really influence professional credibility and client relationships, in your opinion?
So first, I'm going to give the bad news. Earning the CCXP is not going to be the reason that you get your next job or you get your next promotion. It in itself is only one indicator, just the same as a high score on a metric is one indicator. The reality is the learning that you do, the experience that you gather, and the knowledge that you can demonstrate that earns you the CCXP is what's going to make you successful. Now, here's the good news. Right now, when people go to apply for customer experience jobs, they're usually going up against 200 or 300 other applicants. And it is exceptionally difficult for those organizations to sort between those folks. And so CCXP is a first line screener that helps people to get moved to the top of the list for further consideration. It is the best networking group that you can find of other people who have CX jobs and CX positions that are likely to be hiring and that are likely to be folks that you're going to collaborate with. And it has a built-in roadmap for you to make sure that you continue to stay at the front of your knowledge through the renewal process. So it's not going to get you the job, but it's going to open new doors and make new connections for you that allow you to leverage your knowledge and your strength and it gives you a roadmap on how to constantly improve yourself so that you can be the best CX leader you can be.
Fantastic. Greg, do you have a success story demonstrating the practical value of the CCXP?
Sure. One that comes to mind is CXPA member Jessica Kinghorn, CCXP, and now CAE. And what was interesting is Jessica moved from the customer experience space to the association consulting space. And she was putting in a proposal to work with an association on their membership recruitment practice, something that every association holds near and dear. Well, she structured her proposal around CXPA's framework, and she cited her CCXP as differentiating her. So while she was not the most established bidder, and I don't think that she was either the most expensive or least expensive bidder either, she was the bidder that had people understand that she understood that for something to be successful, you need to consider all 5 of the pillars, and you need to have an integrated, holistic strategy. And so the CCXP was what helped individuals that were not at that time aware of customer experience as a differentiator to hire her and her expertise for that opportunity.
I love that story. If you could offer any practical advice for individuals preparing for their CCXP certification, what would it be, Greg? Because before the book of knowledge, which is what I have on my desk right here, I did my CCXP and I read millions of books, watched so many podcasts and webinars, and read articles and went on training courses for months and months and months, and it still didn't feel like enough. Do you have any practical advice?
Yeah, I think that one of the greatest challenges when we look at the CCXP certification is that if you go out and you do a Google search on customer experience, or you go to Amazon and you put in customer experience, you're going to come up with millions of search terms and hundreds, if not thousands, of books that you can choose from. The question is, how do we distill that down to what you're going to be tested on and your personal readiness? So here's what I would suggest that somebody do is go and print out the CXPA CX framework, and don't just ask yourself about the 5 competency areas, but go into the underlying outline structure. And for each of the enumerated tasks, ask yourself, is this something that I've received training on and that I feel confident that I know how to do this correctly? And if so, mark it with a green highlighter or put a green check next to it. Is this something that I think I know how to do, but I've never received training on? I'm a little bit curious about. Mark that with a yellow highlighter or put a question mark next to it, and recognize that that's a space that you're going to want to read books or talk to people that you respect to strengthen your knowledge in that area. There are going to be some things that you read that you haven't done yet, and go ahead and mark those in red or put a little X next to them. Those are the spaces that you want to go and take a course. So that's my first thing. How do you assess your content knowledge, and how do you prepare for that? The second side is many people have not taken a rigorous multiple choice exam in the recent years, and that can be intimidating. And so if you are somebody who either is intimidated by the test-taking process, or you learn best by having somebody teach you in a comprehensive manner, go and find a CXPA recognized training provider. These are folks that have been reviewed and vetted by CXPA to make sure that their content aligns with those things that are on the outline. And they're also folks that will teach you their perspective on how to think about the exam questions and how to be prepared for that process. Because just like everything, just like you prepare for a job interview, you may want to prepare for the examination.
Very good practical advice. Thank you, Greg. Where were you when I started out? But I can tell you now that it's also wonderful to see the great strides that the CXPA have taken over the years to keep improving and injecting this particular framework of customer experience into the actual experience of getting a CCXP and doing your renewals and recreditations as well. So, customer experience often fights for recognition. As you know, it's very difficult to get space at the CEO's table, or particularly the CFO. How does the CXPA help elevate CX to be a recognized global profession and an important part of business strategy?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I'm going to have to parse it into three pieces. The first one is we have a awareness problem. Many people hear the term customer experience and they have the same reaction that I did when I first started looking at the job. They assume that it's just customer service, or they think that it's just the person who opened a restaurant during a hurricane and we're feeding the first responders. Yes, that's a great PR story. But what is customer experience? That is answered on the web at whatiscx.com. And that, I think, is the first thing on awareness. There's some great videos there for people to watch. And I hope that if you don't share them with anyone else, share them the next time your parents or your family says, "What do you do?" You can say, "Okay, this is what I do." The second element is really thinking about what are we doing to consider the advancement of customer experience as a profession. Professions have certain hallmarks. Part of the hallmarks we're doing a good job on with terminology and with establishing a book of knowledge and a certification, a professional association. Part of it we still have work to do on. And that is a research-based body of knowledge. So we have a committee that is working on that. Growth and consistency in higher education. And so we're working on folks with that. And then lastly, when you think about the profession, is really getting to a point where there is a predominant preference for people who hold the certification or have professional training. And so that will come as we continue to grow the higher education and we do those spaces. But if I were to say, what are we doing today? What is relevant to people when they finish this podcast and are asking what they can do to move forward their system in their organization? We have a program called the Proven Business Impact Case Study Program. This is different than other award programs because it's not about external validation. What we are looking to do is to review the business case that you want to bring forward to your CFO and to your CEO and give you feedback so that you can strengthen that business case so that people who hear it find it compelling. And so every entry or submission that meets that standard gets a seal of approval from CXPA that it is a CXPA proven business impact case study. And then we celebrate a few of those each year on CX Day, which is Tuesday, October 7th this year.
I can't wait for CX Day, but that is a fantastic offering and service that you provide because it just gives that gravitas to that business case, knowing that it's CXPA approved. So I'm excited. I think I might be taking you up on a couple of those as well. So Greg, what is your personal vision for global CX profession?
Yeah, I think together with the board of directors and a great group of folks who came together for a global summit, we've set an overall goal that by the year 2032, we want for customer experience to be widely understood and recognized as a professional business discipline that provides sustainable differentiating growth for organizations and as a sustainable career path. So we want to do both things. We want to help the organizations understand how they can leverage this discipline, and we want individuals to understand how they can grow in their own professional career by using this space. So to me, That's really important because it impacts both helping companies and helping individuals. I think our challenge, and I love this part of the challenge, is recognizing that uh, having a global goal does not mean that everything is done the same way. And so we have to recognize that we need to be able to support the development of for example, at Red and Yellow University in South Africa, to support the undergraduate studies, whereas in the US, it's a master's degree at Michigan State University.
Yes. Great, Greg. Thank you so much. Have you ever witnessed a moment, and I think you shared a couple of those stories, but we love them all, where the CXPA membership or certification really elevated someone's professional journey?
Oh, there's so many. You know, when you and I both mentioned the Book of Knowledge, CXPA Book of Knowledge, what most people don't realize is that that was written by 77 different contributing members from around the world. And I know for many of those individuals, that was the first time that they ever were included in a print publication. And what a fantastic way to jump into the deep end of the pool. On the other end, Mark Slayton, CCXP, who was first a member and an innovation award winner when he was with Sandy Spring Bank, just announced today that his podcast, Delighted Customers Podcast, hit the 1 million podcast download accomplishment. And I'm like, isn't that cool to see that his experiences and many of his guests have come from his CXPA connections. It hopefully is inspiring to you as well. You know, as you say, okay, you can hit, maybe you and Mark should have a race to 2 million downloads, see who can get there first.
One day when I'm big, Greg, but I'm certainly inspired by Mark, and I'm going to give him a ring and ask him how he did it and give some advice. So thank
Yeah,
you for the
and I
example.
know that and what I love about CXPA is I know that he will answer that call and have that conversation. I just connected him with one of your colleagues from Kenya just this week, and you know, all I had to do was to send a text, and the answer back was, of course, I want to see what I can do to help.
So, Greg, would you send a text for me as well, please?
Well,
Thank you. Now it's time for our fun quick fire questions and responses. So your first gut feel is the answer that I'm asking for. We're going to start off, there's 5 of them. The first one, if CXPA was a song, what would it be?
I think I'm gonna have to go with Bill Withers, Lean on Me.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that. A surprising valuable benefit CXPA members discover.
I think the biggest is just how valuable it is to have supportive peer advice. And I use that word supportive because you can post a lot of things out on LinkedIn and you'll come away feeling deflated at the responses you get. It's great to have an audience that understands what you do and wants to see you be successful at every step of the path.
It's true. It's not about competition. It's about growing together and helping us along the way. Third one CX skill that never goes out of style.
I'm not going to say either surveys or NPS, so I'm going to go with listening. I'm going to go with listening. It doesn't matter what form it takes. Surveys done right can be great. NPS is great tool for a lot of different situations, but the broader category of listening is probably the real difference maker.
Yes, and I would add beyond listening would be the deep understanding, but first you got to listen. And then finish the sentence. CX leaderships requires more.
I'm not going to say LinkedIn posts or AI written articles. So I'm going to go instead with collaboration. Collaboration within your organization, across organizations, and certainly across our profession.
Excellent. And one action every CX professional could take tomorrow morning.
So I think what I would challenge people to do is to go out tomorrow and begin your day by expressing gratitude. And that's either going to be to someone who's helped you in your organization or has helped you in your career or in your pathway. that will pay dividends back to you.
Greg, thank you for your valuable insights and your ongoing commitment to advancing customer experience globally. From my perspective, you've been there along my journey. We've worked together on some pieces of work. We're busy with quite exciting stuff right now as we speak. But you're there for all of your members, and I think that's really very special. And a big thank you to you for that. XMwize Solutions leverage your global best practice, disciplines, and community insights from the CXPA to consistently deliver meaningful outcomes to our clients. Greg, lastly, please share where our listeners can learn more about joining the CXPA or beginning their CCXP journey.
Awesome. Please visit us at cxpaglobal.org or connect with me on LinkedIn.
That's great. Thank you, Greg. As you know, CXSA is now also officially a CXPA affiliate for 2025. This further strengthens South Africa's collaboration and shared mission in advancing customer experience globally. So we could also reach out to cxsa.org.za for more information. So remember, genuine customer experiences changes not just business, but lives. So let's stay authentic, keep growing, and continue creating experiences that truly matter, one interaction at a time. Thank you for tuning in to the XMengage podcast. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so feel free to leave a comment, share your insights, or start a conversation. If you found value in today's episode, we kindly ask that you give us a follow on our social media platforms for more CX content, and subscribe to the podcast below so you never miss an episode. Until next time, keep creating exceptional experiences, one interaction at a time.
Leaders talk, we learn, we grow. Innovation's got that glow. To write in, dive in deep. Insights here are yours to keep. CX dreams shining bright, bringing heart, mind, and light. Every interaction aligned just right. Oh, 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 XMengage. Turn the page, ignite the stage. Learn, grow, feel the spark. Make every moment leave a mark. Make every interaction